In an alternate version of the United States, a military coup has transformed the nation into a totalitarian dystopia. The government is now ruled by a man known only as the Major. To maintain control, the regime creates a deadly annual event called the Long Walk, a brutal competition where the winner receives wealth, fame, and one wish for absolutely anything they desire. The event is broadcast live across the nation, and for many impoverished citizens, it's seen as the only chance to escape poverty. 50 contestants are chosen through a national lottery, all volunteers desperate for a better life. From the state of Maine, the only participant is a young man named Ray, who is driven to the starting point by his mother, Ginny. The car ride is tense. Ginny pleads with her son to reconsider, but Ray reminds her that it's his choice. When they arrive, Ginny hugs him tightly, crying as she says goodbye. Ray steps through the gates and meets Peter, a friendly and optimistic participant. Surprisingly, most of the competitors seem cheerful, chatting as they wait for the event to begin. One boy, Curly, keeps pacing nervously. He looks too young to be there and insists he's 18, though no one believes him. Soon, the Major arrives and distributes medal tags with each boy's assigned number, announcing that they are now men. He gives a patriotic speech, claiming that the Long Walk was designed to restore work ethic and discipline to a lazy nation weakened by war and economic decline. Every year, he says, the event boosts national productivity, proof, in his eyes, that it works. Each competitor is then given a bracelet that tracks their speed. The rules are simple but deadly. They must walk continuously at a pace of at least 3 miles per hour. Falling below that speed for 10 seconds earns a warning. After 3 warnings, they'll be shot on the spot. Stepping off the road results in instant execution with no warning at all. With that, the Major fires his gun into the air, officially starting the competition. Military trucks follow closely, filming everything for the nationwide broadcast. The early stretch of road is eerily empty. Only locals are allowed to watch until the final section. At first, everyone walks in silence, focused and cautious. But by mile 5, small conversations begin to break the tension. One walker named Stebbins slows down slightly and immediately gets a warning, making everyone realize how strict the system truly is. Some wonder if he did it on purpose to test the limits. By mile 7, they start talking about the prize. Arthur admits he joined purely for the money, while Ray insists there are bigger things at stake. He rants about how the government manipulates them, convincing people they volunteer for this, when in truth, poverty and desperation give them no real choice. Some warn him not to criticize the Long Walk on camera, but Peter agrees with him, saying if they win, they should use the prize to help others. Richard appears, collecting everyone's names and numbers. He plans to write a book about the Long Walk and become famous. Peter mocks him, pointing out that if he wins, he'll already have fame and fortune. Not long after, Cully cries out in pain, his leg has cramped. Ray and Peter help him walk, encouraging him to push through. Cully tries to continue, but his legs give out. When he collapses and can't get up after his 3rd warning, a soldier shoots him in the head. The sudden death shocks everyone. Ray freezes and earns a warning himself, but Peter pushes him forward just in time. A few moments later, the Major appears again, delivering a cold, rehearsed speech about Cully's bravery and sacrifice for the nation. Peter relieves himself openly while walking, showing how little dignity remains in the game. By mile 17, they pass a young girl on the roadside holding a sign that says, "Go Ray." The others tease him for having a fan, though she's clearly too young. Suddenly, another boy suffers a seizure and collapses. Soldiers issue 3 rapid warnings before shooting him. Gary mocks the victim, saying they should all be happy to have one less competitor. At mile 25, Gary starts harassing a boy named Rank, who ignores him at first. But when Gary insults his mother, Rank snaps and tries to punch him. Gary dodges easily and Rank falls. He fails to stand up in time, earning 3 warnings and a bullet to the head. The rest of the boys shout at Gary, calling him a murderer. Later, another boy is forced to relieve himself while walking but slows down too much. He too is shot dead. By mile 35, the Major returns to congratulate the remaining contestants for surviving the first night. His speech is full of empty slogans about pride, sacrifice, and national unity. Ray begins to drift into sleep, dreaming about his mother, until a warning jolts him awake. Peter helps him stay on pace. They talk about their families as they walk, but Ray accidentally slows again, receiving a second warning. He picks up speed but soon stumbles, earning his 3rd. Now, he must walk 3 straight hours without a single mistake to clear his warnings. Peter tries to encourage him, but Ray snaps, accusing him of pretending to care. Moments later, they face a steep hill. Fatigue sets in fast, and one by one, the boys collapse and are shot. Ray forces himself to keep going, ignoring the screams behind him. Gary mocks him, but Peter catches Ray before he falters again. Grateful, Ray apologizes for his earlier outburst. By morning, they've reached mile 59. After the slaughter on the hill, only 18 walkers remain. By mile 67, Hank is barely managing to stay upright. Peter tries to help, but Hank, exhausted and angry, shouts at him to stay away. Meanwhile, Richard has been walking with a twisted ankle and finally begins to slow down. The soldiers warn him, and Ray tries to encourage him to keep moving, but Richard can't take it anymore. He collapses, and a soldier shoots him in the head while two nearby children watch in shock. When the group reaches mile 100, the Major reappears to congratulate them. A desperate boy attempts to escape by running into a building, but the soldiers immediately shoot him down. At mile 103, the boys discuss what they'll do with their wish. Peter says he'd ask for 2 winners instead of 1, while Ray admits he wants to change the entire system. The others remind him that the wish can't directly alter the state, which frustrates everyone. They start cursing the Major and the competition itself. That evening, heavy rain begins to fall. Ray can barely stay awake, so Peter supports him as they keep walking. By morning, at mile 144, Arthur stops to relieve himself, but quickly gets warned by the soldiers and is forced to keep moving. To distract themselves from exhaustion, Ray begins talking about his father, whom he considers his hero. His father used to secretly teach him forbidden subjects like philosophy. When the Major demanded that he stop and pledge loyalty to the regime, he refused and was executed on the spot. Ray then reveals his real reason for joining the long walk. If he wins, he plans to wish for a gun so he can kill the Major. He complains about the spectators who cheer for their suffering, but Peter reminds him that they, too, are victims, conditioned to see this cruelty as entertainment. By mile 170, no one feels like talking. A boy with bleeding feet can't endure the pain any longer and tries to climb onto a military truck, begging for help. A soldier knocks him down and the tank crushes his legs. Even as he screams in agony, the soldiers keep issuing warnings until they shoot him dead. The horror drives another boy insane. He strips naked, runs off the road, and is immediately gunned down. Later that evening, at mile 201, Hank is barely standing. Ray tries to encourage him, but Hank gives up and walks straight toward the soldiers, who shoot him instantly. A devastated Arthur runs after him and is nearly shot too until Ray drags him away. By mile 209, only 6 contestants remain. They decide that whoever wins will donate part of the prize money to Hank's widow. Feeling excluded, Gary approaches Ray and confesses that Hank's death has haunted him ever since. He insists he never meant for it to happen, apologizes, and promises to help Hank's wife, too. The others forgive him and welcome him back into the group. But guilt soon consumes Gary. He starts ranting, breaks down emotionally, and eventually takes his own life using a spoon. The soldiers, following protocol, still give him warnings before shooting him in the head. At mile 260, the remaining boys try to lift their spirits by singing. On the 5th day, they reach mile 278, approaching Ray's hometown. Kali jokes that Ray is lucky to see his mother again, but Ray calls it a curse because he'll have to leave her once more. By mile 286, they enter the town. One of Ray's boots splits apart, and Arthur warns him that it'll cause imbalance, so Ray removes both shoes, revealing his bleeding feet. When he spots his mother in the crowd, Ray instinctively runs toward her. Ginny cries and begs him to stay on the road, while Peter pulls him back just in time to prevent the soldiers from shooting. Ray shouts an apology to his mother, realizing he's become just like his father. As they continue walking, Peter shares his tragic past. His parents died during the war, and his abusive uncle raised him until his death. Left alone, Peter survived on the streets by stealing and fighting until one fight left him with a deep facial scar. From that day, he vowed always to find the light, even in darkness. If he wins, he plans to use his prize to help orphans. At mile 306, Stebbins warns that they shouldn't help each other anymore, or the competition will never end. Unable to take it, Key snaps. He steals a soldier's gun, kills him, and then turns the weapon on himself. By mile 324, Arthur's nosebleed worsens. Ray and Peter break their pact and help him walk. Realizing he's dying, Arthur gives Ray his locket to deliver to his grandmother and asks them not to look back. He steps off the road and is instantly shot by the soldiers. Night falls by mile 326. The final 3, Ray, Peter, and Stebbins, cross a bridge while the Major addresses them again. Ray mocks him, but the Major praises his killer instinct. Stebbins then reveals he's one of the Major's many illegitimate sons and wishes to live in his father's house. Fatally weak, he thanks Ray and Peter for walking beside him before stopping and being shot without the Major showing any emotion. Rain pours as Ray admits he's no longer afraid of death after witnessing so many die. At mile 331, the two reach a town filled with cheering crowds. Peter suddenly stops, saying he wants to quit so Ray can go home to his mother, but Ray convinces him to keep walking. Moments later, Ray slows down behind him. The soldiers shoot him on the spot. Peter turns back in horror, but as the last man standing, he's declared the winner and dragged away. Ray's final words are an apology to his mother and a confession of love for Peter before the Major delivers the fatal shot. As fireworks light up the sky, the Major congratulates Peter and asks for his wish. Peter calmly requests a soldier's gun so he can one day pass it to his children as a symbol of victory. Despite their hesitation, the soldiers obey. Peter takes the gun, points it at the Major, and says, "This is for Ray." He shoots the Major dead, drops the weapon, and walks away. And with that, the movie comes to an end. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.